So today we are very fortunate that we are having His Grace Rasikendra Prabhuji to enlighten us on Srimad Bhagavatam. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your valuable association and time. So now I would like to hand over the call to you, Prabhuji. Now you can start the class. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki. Speaking from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 2, Text 27. This chapter is entitled Daksha Curses Lord Shiva. Tasyaivam vadata sapam Sutva Dvija Kulaya Vai Prudu Katyastraj Chapam Brahmadandam Duratyayam. Word for word. Tasya, his, Nandishwaras. Evam, thus. Vadataha, words. Sapam, the curse. Shutva, hearing. Vijakulaya, unto the Brahmanas. Vai, indeed. Bhrigu, Bhrigu. Pratyasrajat, made. Shapam, a curse. Brahmadandam, the punishment of a Brahmana. Duratyayam, insurmountable. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When all the hereditary Brahmanas were thus cursed by Nandishwara, the sage Bhrigu, as a reaction, condemned the followers of Lord Shiva with this very strong Brahminical curse. Purport. The word Duratyaya is particularly used in reference to a Brahman, a Brahmadanda, a curse by a Brahmana. A curse by a Brahmana is very strong. Therefore, it is called Duratyaya, or insurmountable. As the Lord states in Bhagavad Gita, the stringent laws of nature are insurmountable. Similarly, if a curse is uttered by a Brahmana, that curse is also insurmountable. But Bhagavad Gita also says that the curses of all benedictions of the material world are, after all, material creations. The Chaitanya Charitamrita confirms that which is accepted in this material world to be a benediction and that which is taken to be a curse are both on the same platform because they are material. To get out of this material contamination, one should take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as recommended in Bhagavad Gita 7:14. Mam evaya prapatyante mayam etam tarantite. The best path is to transcend all material curses and benedictions and take shelter of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, and remain in a transcendental position. Persons who have taken shelter of Krishna are always peaceful. They are never cursed by anyone, nor do they attempt to curse anyone. That is a transcendental position. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Supadantikam. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Tamam Krishna Goswamini Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauru Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Then all the hereditary brahmanas were thus cursed by Nandishvara, the sage Bhrigu, as a reaction condemned the followers of Lord Shiva with this very strong Brahminical curse. So here in Daksha, out of this intense envy for Lord Shiva, who's considered to be the best among the Vaishnavas and the best among the gentle, was actually very severely cursed and offended and insulted by Daksha, simply because he felt that Lord Shiva did not award him proper respect, him being the father-in-law of Lord Shiva. He didn't get up from his seat when he entered the assembly. So he took that as a big offense, not knowing that Lord Shiva is far superior to him in his transcendental position. And he was also one of the three personalities who govern this modes. I mean, who's basically by Lord Shiva's assistance, the living entities come into this world, and he's the master of this material world. So Daksha, becoming so envious, even though his own daughter was married to him, his most dearest daughter, Sati, was considered to be the most chaste, very exalted personality like Sati. His own daughter was married to Lord Shiva. But because he was so affected by his envy, his lust, his greed, his pride, he failed to see the position of Lord Shiva. Even though Daksha is a very exalted personality, I mean, when he entered the assembly, it was said earlier on that by his effulgence, by his potency, because he's a Prajapati, and all the assembled Brahmanas and the sages and the munis appeared very insignificant in front of Daksha. And this is a very instructive lesson for all of us, that due to our material position, we may appear to be very superior to many people, even including devotees. We may see them like that. Oh, I'm in a superior position. I've got a very high position. I've got a very highly respected in society. I've got a very high position in my job. Or I'm in a big manager. Even now I'm a president of a temple here. And if one starts thinking like that and starts seeing the devotee as inferior to him, that's just like a mentality of Daksha. And demand respect from even devotees who are much more advanced, What's the sound in the background? Whoever, can you please stop making that sound in the background? It's kind of distracting. Or if not, at least put it on mute if you have to do something. So Daksha became bewildered, and he starts insulting Lord Shiva in front of all the exalted assembly. And meanwhile, Lord Shiva is very tolerant and very patient and hearing all these insults. In front of all the exalted Vaishnavas who know, exalted Brahmanas, who know the position of Lord Shiva. So this is a very awkward situation. And even Lord Brahma was there, and this was going on. And then Nandishvara, great associate of Lord Shiva, of course, he couldn't bear to see his master being insulted like that. And Prabhupada said he was correct to actually turn around and protect the reputation of his master. And he starts, of course, this is all part of Krishna's plan. He gave, Nandishvara curse, 3 curses. And then now Bhrigumuni, who's another great personality, who was also overcome by anger, which is rare, because Bhrigumuni has a reputation of being angry. Brahmana is one who has controlled his his anger, his lower natures, but you cannot see, Bhrigumuni is a very, very elevated person, but he turns around and curses. The next verse, but talks about the curses. What are the curses? Here, Prabhupada says, when a Brahmana curses someone, very difficult to overcome this. Just like when Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by the unqualified son of a Brahmana, actually. He didn't make any attempt to counter that curse, even though he may have actually succeeded, because that curse was totally unwarranted. He could have, but he accepted that this is the will of the Lord. I'm going to take it, that I'm going to die now. And he never countered the curse. So this is another symptom of a devotee. When somebody is insulted or cursed, he doesn't protect his own reputation, like Lord Shiva did. But his followers could. Just like anybody who offends a Vaishnava, if you listen to that offense, you become implicated in that offense. So you have to actually counter the person's by establishing the glory of a Vaishnava. So many things are there, in this age you cannot cut off the tongue of the other person. It's one of the things. So you can't do that. So you have to actually, if you are in an assembly, when a Vaishnava is being insulted or offended, you have to speak up. Very important. But when one himself is insulted or offended, the best practice is to remain silent and not to counter. Just like Lord Shiva's example here is exemplary. So Brahmana's curse is insurmountable, just like the stringent laws of nature are insurmountable. Devihi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. The same word duratyaya is there. Mam eva ye prapatyante mayam etam tarantite. But it is said that if you get cursed by someone, if you're a Vaishnava, you get cursed by someone, it's in a way, it's a blessing. Of course, like Narad Muni is cursing Manigriva and Nalakuvera, it was actually a profound blessing on them. By their curse, by Narad Muni's curse, who's like, but that's not the same category as here we're talking about. Narad Muni is on the pretext of a curse. He brought Nanigriva and Nalakuvera to this Vrindavan and to become trees. They were enjoying their life, material, sinful life in the heavenly planets, sensual life, but he cursed them. And he may look like a tremendous setback. But what happened? They became trees in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. How fortunate is that? Even if you were a particle of dust in the court of Nanda Maharaj, it is the most valuable boon. And they became trees there, the Yamalarjuna trees. And they got knocked down by Krishna personally. What fortune is that? And then they appeared as demigods in front of Krishna. And then they returned. Interesting that they returned. They didn't beg the Lord to stay in Vrindavan. They had some desires still left. So Prabhupada said the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Bhagavad Gita says the curses of malediction after all material creation. The Chaitanya Charitamrita confirms that. That which is accepted as a benediction, that which is accepted to be a curse are both on the same platform in this material world, because they are after all material. To get out of this material contamination, once you take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, yes, without taking shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead, without taking shelter of the bona fide Guru, which is tantamount to taking shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot get out of this material world. So, and Lord Shiva is one such Guru for the entire, actually, universal creation. It is said, Lord Shiva is earlier in this chapter is addressed as Chara Chara Guru. That means he is Guru for the animate and inanimate, moving and non-moving. Can we imagine the position of Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva also gave wonderful instructions to the sons of Prachinabhari. Lord Shiva's qualities are extolled in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And sometimes people of other Vaishnava Sampradayas who are not very inclined to accept the position of Lord Shiva, they kind of find it a little puzzling. Lord Shiva is glorified, sometimes addressed as Bhagavan in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Lord Shiva is respected. It's the topmost devotee. In fact, Krishna, Lord Shiva is so dear to Lord Krishna. In fact, in certain way, Lord Shiva is actually non-different in a certain aspect, in a certain darshan, if you look. Because Lord Vishnu, he contacts the material mode, and he becomes Lord Shiva. So, and Lord Shiva is not a jiva. Lord Brahma is a jiva. Lord Shiva is not a jiva. And when Lord Chaitanya was traveling through India, he went to multiple temples of Lord Shiva and took darshan and chanted and danced in great ecstasy. And he even met Lord Shiva and Parvati and had some very confidential discussions with them. You can read about that. So, Lord Shiva, he is very, very merciful. Those who are rejected by society, those who have fallen into a very degraded condition of life, almost ghost-like existence. We see that practically in Kali Yuga. Everybody is ghost-like. Everybody is like a goblin. They may sometimes not look like that, but their consciousness is like that. What they eat, what they do, even though they may be dressed nicely, everybody is actually ghostly haunted. And their false ego is so much entrenched, impossible to get them out. So only a very extremely liberal person like Lord Shiva is chosen to give shelter. Of course, Prabhupada gave shelter to so many devotees. We cannot imitate Srila Prabhupada. So many degraded living personalities who became most exalted because of Srila Prabhupada's association. So Lord Shiva is so kind. He stays in the cemetery. Sometimes he's naked, just like his followers. So if he's dressed very nicely, his followers may think he's dressed. Why is he dressed so nicely? I'm not attracted by his nice dress. Let me go to somebody. So he willfully appears like one of his followers. So his followers will say, "Oh, this is my master." And so those who are rejected by everything, those who cannot, Prabhupada said, those who cannot approach Lord Vishnu because of their attachment to so many degraded things, become followers of Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, by his grace, takes them to Lord Vishnu eventually. So Lord Shiva is his own sampradaya, like all you know. It's called the Rudra Sampradaya. And Rudra Sampradaya's Acharya is Vishnu Swami, great Acharya. And Lord Shiva also guards Vrindavan as Gopeshwar from unqualified people coming in. And most of you have probably gone to Vrindavan, have gone to Mahadev temple there, very famous Gopeshwar Mahadev. Daytime he's dressed as Lord Shiva, evening he's dressed as a gopi. So like this, he's Gopeshwara, who's worshipped by the gopis to get Krishna as their husband. He's also the Lord who appeared as a gopi. He wanted to enter into the pastimes of the Rasa Leela, and he had to give up his masculine form because Krishna is the only male in Brajdam. Everybody is considered. So he couldn't, as a Purusha, he couldn't participate. So he was blessed by Vrinda Devi. Then he dipped into the Yamuna, became a gopi. So like that, Lord Shiva is it's an ocean of mercy. So of course, we should see Lord Shiva as the topmost among Vaishnavas and the best among servants. He has to take he has to do so many very difficult tasks for Krishna. So he becomes very dear. A very interesting identity Lord Shiva has. So very, very powerful personality. Very, very amazing. So this quality of Daksha is directly opposite to Lord Shiva. Even though he was a Prajapati. So we have to guard, it's a very instructive part of the Bhagavatam actually. We have to guard ourselves against all these demoniac-like qualities in our heart. Taking Daksha as an example, what will happen if we feed those base-like qualities, very, very sinful qualities which are residing in our heart, if we try to not work on getting rid of them, eventually they'll consume us, like how they consumed Daksha. Daksha was actually a great personality. If you look, I mean, he gave birth to all his daughters, and one of his daughter, Murti, gave birth to Naranarayana Rishi. I mean, materially a very exalted position. But because he refused to accept Lord Shiva's position, he failed to recognize the exalted position of Lord Shiva. Therefore, he fell into such terrible situation. So, it was very instructive. We have to recognize the position of a Vaishnava. Even though if we cannot recognize, for the benefit of the doubt, you may think somebody is junior to you, somebody is not advanced than you. For the benefit of the doubt, you should still give the benefit of the doubt to that person and respect that person, following the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Trinata Pisunichena Taro Rivasahisnuna Amani Namanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. So, very instructive part. This is, we should read this very carefully, very scrutinizingly, and imbibe these lessons from the Srimad Bhagavatam in our heart very seriously. Because devotees are very, very dear to Krishna. Anybody who insults a devotee, no different than insulting Krishna. In fact, actually, Krishna may tolerate. If you directly insult him, Krishna will never tolerate if you insult his devotees. Just like a father or a mother who loves their child very dearly, if you insult the child, that becomes almost an unforgivable thing for many parents. But if you insult them, they may forgive, but it's very difficult when somebody insults somebody who you love very dearly. So love me, love my dog. Prabhupada always says, well, if you're going to love me, you also have to love my dog. So if you claim to love Krishna, but you don't love his devotees, then that is not really love for Krishna. Because Krishna cannot be loved independently. Krishna, when you love Krishna, means you love him, you love his associates, you love his dham, you love his qualities, his activities, everything. Everything intimately connected to Krishna you love. So we'll stop here. Any questions? Any comments? So let me open it up to you all. Any corrections? So please, can we open it up for questions and comments? I'll stop my class here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhuji, I was trying to understand the meaning of the curse and curse is material. So how does the curse work? I mean, is it due to yogic power? Because it's totally absent in the Kali Yuga, right? So could you little elaborate on that? Hare Krishna.
What is not in Kali Yuga?
So in Kali Yuga, I don't see the effect of curse, things like that. I mean, we don't hear about.
Maybe, but actually, when somebody is very Brahminical, somebody is very pious, somebody is Brahminical, somebody curse that could come true to some degree according to the potency. So, we have to be therefore, especially when there's somebody, when a woman is chaste, I'll give you an example. If a woman is extremely chaste to her husband, or very chaste, or a disciple is very chaste to the spiritual master, and if somebody tries to break that chastity, and as a result, if a woman curses somebody, it can take very severe effect. So it can take effect. Even if somebody is seemingly not a devotee, but somebody is trying to follow Vedic principles, it is said, right? Hell has no fury like a woman's. What is that word? Woman's curse or something? Yeah. So like that, many in the Bhagavatam you find instances like that. And when Krishna appeared here, Narad Muni's curse, brought even Parikshit Maharaj, the curse came to pass that he left his body. So we shouldn't therefore harm, we shouldn't pain any living entity, How do we know when all these animals are slaughtered? How are they cursing the people who are slaughtering them? Right? Just because they don't speak doesn't mean they're not cursing. So we have to be careful. A curse can still work, but it's not a Vaishnava's quality to curse someone. That's also we should understand. Like we can find all the great devotees when they were seemingly attacked. Haridas Thakur never cursed. Jesus Christ never cursed. Lord Nityananda, he prayed for the deliverance of these people. So we shouldn't say Kali Yuga curse is not going to work. They will still have some degree of potency according to the person's purity. They will have, yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Krishna. So, follow up on that verse. Later in the commentary, it says, one who takes to Krishna consciousness, the effect of curse won't be there, or they will be able to withstand the curse.
Yeah, Prabhupada says they are never cursed by anyone. Prabhupada says that persons who have taken shelter are always peaceful. They are never cursed by anyone. But we find that even if you go on the internet now, you can see Krishna Chaitanya, what is the fate of these people? There's so much things being propagated against devotees and very, very nefarious, very, very horrible things said about very exalted devotees. So what do they mean? What does that mean? That means they are not human beings. They are actually lower than animals because they're not considered in the class of human beings. If you go and blaspheme a devotee who has dedicated their lives in the propagation of the holy name of the Lord, and curse them and say, that means you are actually not considered any in the human category. So that's how I think we should understand it. Just like the Goswamis, they were very dear to the Dhiras and the Adhiras. Dhira, Adhira, Jana, Priyo, Priyakaro. And they were so dear, they were so gentle in their qualities. They were loved by the sober and the ruffians. So devotees should cultivate such quality. But you will often find that even if you're most gentle, you're very gentle in Kali Yuga, when you're preaching the message of the Lord, people become envious of you and they may start attacking you. They may start off offending you. It happens so many times to devotees. I was hearing that when Brahmananda Prabhu was sent to Pakistan by Srila Prabhupada, even his brother, I think, even, and they used to sit in a public place and chant. And the people used to surround them, and while they're chanting, they used to spit on them. But they never left Pakistan. They wrote to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada immediately called them back. We called them back for various reasons. Called them back because he feels this very dangerous there, and also to prevent the people there who are committing offenses to these exalted Vaishnavas, to stop the offense. So, but anybody who does that is not considered a human. Therefore, to be a human, first of all, we have to know how to respect others. That is human quality. Let alone, Vaishnava quality is human being means you conduct yourself with civility. In the process of preaching, we may have to speak very heavily. We may have to counter. We may have to chastise some people for their mentality. It may be necessary, but we do it as a service of Krishna, not for our own false ego, just like Hanuman did. When Hanuman entered the assembly of Ravan, he insulted Ravan. You may think like, wow, this is quite heavy what Hanuman is saying, but he was protecting the reputation of Ram by doing that. Okay, so I hope I've explained that. So
yes, Prabhu.
Yes. But a devotee is never affected by a curse because he is protected. But devotee is immaculate in his behavior and surrendered to Krishna. He is protected by Krishna in all instances. No curse can touch. Just like Durvasa Muni such a powerful yogi couldn't affect Ambarish Maharaj in any way. In fact, on the contrary, he got attacked. So that's the consequence. Very good lesson from the Srimad Bhagavatam. All right, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other comments? Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam, our first Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Very, very wonderful class. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji, for engaging me. Thank you all. I feel very indebted to all of you. You all are somehow engaging me in speaking the Bhagavatam. So if not, can we end the class?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Please come back again and please pay our obeisances to Prabhuji. Vajja Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu